I was not ready for that. Dude, I actually never had a feeling like that in my life, dude. I couldn't cry.
Hey guys, welcome to OctaneVision. We're just taking a moment to be very zen right now. Very calm and relaxed. It's beautiful, isn't it? But you know what isn't beautiful? This kick-ass intro you're about to see. Let's frickin' get it. Jeez. See you later, Chris.
See you next time.
Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of OctaneVision. We're here today with a 2021 992 Turbo S in this beautiful GT silver. Let's waste no time and let's just get right into it, shall we? Let's start at the front. So, coming up to the front, 992. This was first released in March 2020. Oh boy.
Coronavirus.
COVID-19.
COVID-19.
Pandemic.
15 days to stop the spread of the virus.
I don't want that. Okay, let's focus on this. Let's calm down. I was very zen back there, okay? So the front end of this car, it has these swooping lines that come down, which is very reminiscent of the old air-cooled 911s. And I really like that Porsche threw that back into these modern cars. Super aggressive front end. We have active aero in the front and the back of this car. So we actually have an extendable spoiler that comes out to give you more downforce at the front because this thing hugs the ground like it's stuck to it. As you'll notice with this car, there's a lot of extra options with this vehicle. This thing's been spec'd up to the moon. It's fully loaded, baby. Like that baked potato, that thing was fully loaded. So is this thing. What the hell's BSM?
Blind spot monitor.
Oh, this thing's pretty fully loaded. Okay, this thing's pretty fully loaded. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves, okay? Have a good day. So anyways, getting back to the review here, guys. This way, look at me, okay? So, front end looks great. Paint matched flicks here. There's no carbon on the front. We come to the wheels, the rims, and the tires. Up front, we have 255s here to grip this car. We have 420 millimeter disc brakes, carbon ceramics, which are standard on the Turbo S. I love the yellow calipers on here. And a little tidbit about these rims, the way they're designed. The way that these are designed is they're actually fully painted black. And then what happens, a machine comes and lasers off all of the black paint, exposing the rim and giving this look. So it's a really cool little feature that not many people know, but whenever I see these rims, I think of them. They're not my favorite. I really do like those, I think they're 5 spokes that are a little more sharp and aggressive, but knowing how these are made, I appreciate these a lot. You'll also notice we have these center locks. A little bit of a love-hate relationship with these. They're really great and they look really cool for like the track or something. But if you get pulled over on the side of the road and you get a flat tire and you got to take that thing off, you have to have that massive tool that takes this off, and not many people have that. Okay, well, let's stand up and let's start to move to the back of the car here. We have the air intakes on this model that were spec'd out to match the silver as well. So you're gonna see this silver theme go throughout the whole entire car. Normally these would be black and that's an option. 315s in the back with 21-inch rims, and again, carbon ceramics. It rips your heart out when you slam on those brakes. These brakes, they really put you, wow, man. Really nice lights back here. I like when they're blacked out like this. Super cool, super aggressive. We also have the 911 Turbo S badge that's painted in the black metallic color. We also have the Porsche emblem at the back here. Each letter, again, painted black, super aggressive. I'm not normally a fan of fully painted bumpers, but I think this really works here. This bottom part, the diffuser, paint matching that GT silver again. You have the oval exhaust pipes here, which is the sport exhaust. Everyone knows if you got a turbo, it's kind of the dog in terms of exhaust. exhaust in this car with that sport exhaust, it helps give it those burbles and those pops. It gives it an extra little flavor when you're driving this thing, and I think it needs it. The wing that, you know, is very iconic for the turbos, it pops up and it actually acts as an air brake as well, which is really cool. If you wanted to see the engine, well, ladies and gentlemen, you can't see the engine. Porsche doesn't let you do that. When you open this thing up, it looks like a freaking GPU. If you guys are familiar with those computer components, that's what it looks like here. You got the 2 fans and just a rectangular strip. A little tidbit that Doug DeMero shared with us actually is you can actually mine Bitcoin with this engine here. It's very cool. When I first showed up and saw this car, I couldn't get over how wide this thing was. It is like, the ass end on this thing is just out of control. It looks like Kim Kardashian back in the day, you know, just thin and then boom, plastic surgery. That's what this is. But it looks good. Kim Kardashian back then, I don't know about that.
Why would you say that?
But this looks good. The rear also has the active aero, as I talked about as well. You'll see these ducts in here that suck in the air to cool the car down. Again, here as well, you have these extra intakes. Everything works together to cool that engine down and sticking to the road a little bit more. But that's the exterior. Let's start to roll on into that, that beautiful, refined German interior, shall we?
I just showed up, blew a couple snot rockets and fucked off. I'm not even joking.
All right, welcome to the interior of this interior. Welcome to the interior of this really nice 992. All right, guys, welcome to the interior of this 992 Turbo S, and right off the bat, it feels familiar. Getting into a Porsche, it always has this like characteristic smell. We all love new car smells, but Porsche just has this like super unique new car smell. And I don't know if you guys noticed that. If you do notice that and you've thought it yourself, put it down in the comments. I want to know, like, am I the only one? First impressions while being in here, it's very luxurious, very premium, very quality. You have a mix of touch and physical buttons, so I'll take that. You know, at least I get an option. I'm not forced to just be driving the car and search for the buttons, and you know, it's a driving hazard. I hate it. You guys know that I love the updated Porsche steering wheels. I love the circle here in the middle. I think it's super satisfying to look at. I think it's such an elegant design. The steering wheel feels really good in your hands, and this one's been optioned with the Alcantara steering wheel. So if you're on the track, like I was saying in other videos, this helps with grip. If you have the racing gloves, you grip on at the track and it's no problem. Paddle shifters that are attached to the steering wheel, and they feel good. The response is very solid, very premium. There's no, you know, flimsy Ford Escape feeling here. They're a little small, but the feeling is really nice. We obviously have the iconic 5 dials here. We have gone away with analog with these current models. We have a little bit, it's a kind of a hybrid. We have the analog in the middle, which is nice that they kept that. And then on the side, we have 4 digital screens. So I like that they kept that design inspiration and they have still a little bit of analog there in the middle. Indicators that are physical, they're not on the steering wheel like the Lamborghini. I like that. It's intuitive. We have the drive mode that's on the steering wheel. You flip between the modes, no problem. It's really easy. This one has the adaptive cruise control as well. Lots of carbon fiber throughout here, as you would expect with a car of this caliber. The leather feels super, super premium. I like that the 992s and the newer generations actually tell the time with the Sport Chrono and not just timing for the track. This one is also optioned out with the panoramic roof here, which is a nice feature. Just kind of opens up this cockpit a little bit. One of the coolest features about these newer 992s is we're all used to putting the key in the ignition on the left side with a Porsche. We all know that, but everyone nowadays is going with the push to start, and there's no push to start on this car. You can't insert the key anymore, but what they have retained is that feeling of turning the key and putting it in there, which I love. The seats are super comfortable. The bolstering is good. I like this design that kind of reminds me of like the houndstooth interiors of back in the day. We have the crest of Porsche embossed on there, which looks nice. We also have the optioned red seat belts, which again is just a really nice touch. The back seats, you know, we all know Porsche back seats. They're not really usable unless you have little kids, which the owner does take his kids out in this car, and it's awesome to see that starting young, putting your kids in the back here and having fun. We have the very, very controversial gear selector here, which most people, it looks like a little foil razor, and I would agree. This does look like a little dinky foil razor that, you know, you would use to shave. But, you know, like, sure, it's not my favorite, and I think Porsche's kind of gone away from this styling, but the tactile feeling of the brushing on the tops of the buttons feels really nice, and it's very rewarding to press these buttons. The screen, the infotainment looks really good. It's super user-friendly. The location of all the buttons and the touchscreen is actually like really driver-centric. I got in this car and I wanted to turn the volume down, and just my brain went to here, and that's exactly where the volume was. It was like all of these things were very thought out, very well placed. Very good job, Porsche. I think they really took time to narrow down and really fine tune this interior to get it feeling super, super premium. So let's hop out for a little bit, and let's get to that weekly special that you guys like called the door close test, shall we? All right, guys, time for that sexy, oh, shit. Okay, well, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think I'm gonna rate this bad boy. But right off the bat, solid. Solid and heavy, I like it. Ready? Let's go. Ooh. Gotta pull my pants up for this one. I'm giving that a 9, boys. Solid 9. Shit, that thing was so satisfying. I forgot to say we should go for a drive, so let's get in and go for a drive, shall we? All right, everyone, welcome to the 2021 992 Turbo S, the ultimate supercar daily driver. Let's talk about the horsepower and torque of this beast of a 911. So this 911 992 Turbo S has a 3.745, if we want to be exact. Porsche put 3.8 on the engine bay, but this is a 3.745 liter flat six. I'm not going to get tossed up this time, but a V6, an inline, a flat six. It was a flat six, putting out 640 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. Those figures are absolutely insane, and I can't believe, you know, we're buying cars from factory with these kinds of figures. It's absolutely mind-boggling. The Turbo has a long history. The Turbo first came out with the 930 in 1975, and that really shocked the world with how much power that had. We moved into the 964, which was even more boost, and those were nicknamed the Widowmaker because the boost creep would come on out of nowhere. We then move on to the 993s, where the four-wheel drive came in, and that's where these things really excelled, and that's where we are today with the four-wheel drive. It's never left the turbos, and it's been a really big feature of the car to launch this thing into the stratosphere with those 640 horses behind you. This is my first time in a turbo, and for a large part of my life, I always heard the Turbo as being the dog of the 911s. I was expecting it to be boring, well executed, dull, not fun, and have no engine noise. And with the sport exhaust, I've been pleasantly surprised about how good it sounds. I mean, it doesn't sound like a GT3 naturally aspirated, screaming out to 9,000 RPM. But I mean, with the sport exhaust, it actually sounds pretty good. It's got a little bit of throatiness to it. It's got some burbles to it. So that, for me, having no former knowledge, I was pleasantly surprised that it actually sounds fairly nice. Like me, and probably like you, when I was looking at the drive mode button, I was wondering, hey, that center button, what does that do? And on this Turbo, when you hit that center button, it's legless boost. Like, you are ready to go for 20 seconds. So I'm gonna push this thing, and here we go. Holy shit. That was like half throttle, and I felt like I was being shot into the stratosphere. I felt like Buzz Lightyear taking off in a rocket ship going into outer space. That is a little taste of what this car can do. So the transmission in this car is one of the best. Everyone knows that PDK is unbelievable. This is a dual clutch, 8-speed transmission, and the shifts feel lightning fast, and it's super satisfying to just roll through the gears one after another. When I'm driving this car, I get the sensation that everything is tight. Everything feels well put together. There's no question about the quality. There's no question about the cornering. You have no lack of confidence at all. While we're in Sport Plus mode, the computer does seem to pick up the right gears at the right time. It does do a good job of that. You know, like, it just, Jesus Christ. Like, it's ready to go all day long. The 0 to 60 in this car is 2.5 seconds. That is mind-blowing. Until you've experienced what 2.5 seconds is in a car, you can't really comprehend it. Holy shit, I'm crying! But it is just out of this world. The Turbo S has torque vectoring, so it likes to favor the rear of the car when it's sending most of the power. Because it has that four-wheel system, when you're taking a corner, it sends the power to each tire that it thinks has the most grip to add to that level of confidence that you're taking corners and you're doing high-speed maneuvers and this thing's ready for you. This Turbo S comes with rear-wheel steering, which is something that I really, really love. That was something that really shined for me on that GTC. It was something that really surprised me on how well it worked. There's two really cool features about this car that I learned when I was researching this car is the active anti-sway bars. And what that does is when you're turning and the car's in motion, it tightens up and makes sure it's tight and it's ready to do this and not loosey-goosey all over the place, giving you body roll or whatever. And you can feel that, like this thing just hugs the road. And the same thing with the engine. It has the engine mount actually tightens up as this car's moving to prevent, you know, the center of gravity being swung out of place. So some of the complaints people had for this car was with those big 315s in the back, you get some road noise, and I'm not really getting as much as that as I thought I was going to be. Sure, there is a little bit of tire road noise, but there's no droning that I was expecting. I mean, if you're buying a sports car, you're going to have to make sacrifices, and if your tires are a little bit loud in the back, which they're really not that bad, then so be it. I'll take that to have this power all day long. When this car was first released in 2021, this car was $231,000. And that is a ridiculous price, but if you want to get even more ridiculous, let's talk about how this car was spec'd up. This car was spec'd up to over $330,000. That is absolutely insane for a Porsche. The owner of this car recently purchased it and has already put on close to 4,000 kilometers. And I love that. I love people who buy these kinds of cars and they drive the hell out of them. There's nothing better than buying a car like this and using it. But let's launch this thing, shall we?
I was not ready for that.
My stomach finna fall out my
Dude, I actually never had a feeling like that in my life, dude. I kinda oh,
holy shit, I'm crying. I need a second to process that.
Dude, yeah, like,
that was the most insane thing I think I've ever experienced in my life. I can't get over it. Holy shit, like my stomach. Wow.
10 out of 10.
But that launch was incredibly controlled. There was no fighting with the steering. There was no second that I felt like I wasn't in control. I felt like this thing was dialed in, going straight down that line.
I actually never felt anything like that in a car.
I've never experienced anything like that in my life. Well, this is awkward. As you guys can probably tell, my mic isn't working in this scene, so now you just get to enjoy me dubbing over what I'm probably saying. I'm probably saying something prolific like, this 911 is not the dog of the 911 lineup, because it really isn't. This car is absolutely insane, and I've actually added it onto one of my lists of cars I would love to own one day. That launch was just out of this world, and the speed you can pull in this thing is nuts. If you liked today's video, make sure you leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new here. It means a lot to us, and we put a lot of effort into making these videos on a weekly basis for you guys. It takes a lot of time, so we really appreciate it. Anyways, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Until then.